we got started working with you all in Philadelphia and seeing more specifically how we work with schools, which is kind of a unique approach. And show you some of the other updates we have, but I also want to obviously give you a chance to ask any questions that you have. So we'll just get rolling through this, and if at any point you just want to stop me to ask a clarifying question or get more specifics on something, feel free to do so. So what is similar about things is upon registration, parents and educators get access to the entire video library from any device. So what they do when they register is create a login password. They can take that at any device and go and search our entire video library from any internet-enabled device. And so they're able to search by language, skill, location, subject matter. And I'm going to show you more specifics what our current video library search functions look like, so you can see a lot of the feature changes that are going to take place starting on August 1st. So you can see what the live looks like. But what parents get in addition to having that access is they get weekly messages containing playlists of videos. So they sign up to get this by email, by text message. They can also download our mobile app and access it that way. In most cases, for instance, for your families, what they're getting access to is they're getting a once a week push out from us. It's a playlist around a curated specific topic. Say, for instance, 5 tips on how to read books or make reading time fun for your family. This week, I'm going to give them 3 to 4 to 5 videos in a playlist format that they're able to search through, play them, do those activities with their kids, and they get that pushed out once a week. For our school partners that we work with, they also have access to what we call our share platform, where educators are actually able to customize messages to them. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that, because that goes a bit more in depth and gives a lot more power to our overall platform. So this is just a screencast of what this looks like. But we sign up for administrators, for teachers, for educators who have this access, the ability to invite families through the system, customize content to families or groups of families or classrooms, and then to be able to see the progress. So there's so many different layers upon which people can see the progress. Again, I'm going to show you a live example of this in a second, but they also get detailed data. So not just at the administrative level can they see numbers of users and things like that, but even down to the level of a teacher managing classrooms can see how many people are signed up, what their usage is like, all the way down to how far along did they watch a particular video. If they want to see that much data, they have access to that. But it gives them a sense to, especially when you're talking about enrolled classrooms, of pre-K classrooms, Head Start classrooms, early Head Start classrooms, they're able to see as they're pushing out specific content how that's been interacted with, so that they can get a better sense of how this is being utilized, but also that data becomes helpful because this is probably a captive audience of families they're working with throughout the year. They could go back to them and reinforce its usage, integrate it with other things they're doing. So this data becomes helpful because they can now go back and encourage greater usage of this resource. The other thing we have is specifically, again, for our school partners, when we know that this is a digital resource that gets pushed out to families, we also know that they're doing a number of kind of site-based family nights, literacy nights, activities that involve parents actually being there. So what we have as part of our partnership is we've created 6 what we call pre-planned plug-and-play workshops. So these are, imagine you have families there and you're trying to run them through a particular curriculum around these topics. So these are 6 topics in which we've created curriculum for them. They can be about an hour in length or less or more depending on how you want to customize it. But what we provide is a facilitator's guide, a PowerPoint presentation in English and Spanish that uses our videos, so that they can see modeled ways of doing the very things you're talking about. There's assessment forms in it. We also have downloadable flyers that you can print out to advertise for this sort of an event. So again, it's a way for schools that are trying to do a more comprehensive parent engagement strategy that they have both the digital approach and this live site that they can utilize these workshops for when they have parents in front of them. We've also added to our available options for our partners is professional development. So this is primarily targeted towards teachers who are looking to build out their own capacity as it relates to engaging families. So we would send out one of our experts for either a half day or full day professional development for educators. And again, all this is aligning with our content, but it goes well beyond our content as well, as they're thinking through bolstering their family engagement activities. So to show you kind of what this looks like a bit, when we deal with partners that have an enrolled family, so this again would be in a pre-K, Head Start, some sort of school district type context. Registration, instead of it being initiated by the actual parent themselves responding to a flyer, going to a registration page, registering themselves, it's actually initiated by the teacher. All they need to know is an email or cell phone number of that parent, and I'll show you again what that looks like here in a second. Then for those partners that are reaching out to the community, there's still that self-registration option. Again, that starts with zip codes. That's what you're used to utilizing. We're actually kind of refining our self-registration process so it's simpler for the parents, easier to work through, and actually requires a little less information from them unless they want to give us more information. But to get registered, it requires much less. So to show you kind of, these are some screenshots, and I'll click over to the live site here in a second. But for teachers that are utilizing this to register families, they simply go in, they put in that student's name, they put in, again, an email or a cell phone number of the parent. It pushes out to that parent a text message or an email from that actual teacher. So it'll say, Miss Hernandez has invited you to join ReadyRosie. Would you like to accept this invite? The teacher, the parent then can create their account through that invitation that they got. And the teacher is able to get on and see which parents have accepted the invite. They have them in their classroom. Which ones are still pending, meaning they haven't accepted the invite. They can get in there and edit any of the information. They can push out another invite to them if they want. But again, it gives them instant ability to track just their parents' engagement with this resource, right down to whether or not they accepted their invite or not. Once they're in, then the parent starts getting the weekly messages, but also the teacher is able to get in here and curate what content that parent is getting, or that classroom, or whatever they've set up. Other things we've added heading into this fall is we have a partnership with Second Step. They're one of the nation's leaders as it relates to social emotional content for schools. They do a number of trainings for teachers and a number of curriculum options for classrooms, but they don't have a lot in terms of parent engagement content. So we've partnered with them this summer. We're doing a series of videos in which we're co-creating with them that address social emotional learning, in addition to our early literacy and early math content that we already have in our curriculum, which we're adding to as well this summer. We also are adding new language options, so you know that we have everything that's in English videos. We have a native Spanish-speaking family modeling that same activity in Spanish. That's the way we've been doing it from the start. We now have every single video is closed captioned, both in the English and the Spanish for the hearing impaired. But we also have started using that closed captioning technology to start to scale out some new language options and subtitles. So now we have our library with Vietnamese and Arabic subtitles. And because of an interesting partnership we have in the UAE, we've started piloting some Arabic-speaking families in some videos. So we have about 5 of those videos right now. Here's a screenshot of one of them with a native Arabic-speaking family. We anticipate adding on to the subtitles probably 2 new languages a year, again, since we've committed to video content. Adding new language with actual parents speaking that language with their families for all the videos is obviously pretty time and resource intensive, but utilizing subtitles, we're able to kind of scale into that. We think Mandarin is probably our next option, given a lot of the needs and a lot of the partners we work with across the country. We also have the option, again, this is specific when we're working with schools, but sometimes they want us to take our video content and align it to their curriculum. So this is out of Houston Independent School District, where they worked with our curriculum folks, and we worked with their curriculum folks to be able to put in specific video recommendations in their scope and sequence documents, so that as a teacher is building out their lesson plans, they see specific ReadyRosie content that aligns with that. And so as they're suggesting specific content to their families, they're able to more quickly find the content that makes sense to what they're working on with the kids. So again, this is a specific to a school, not a specific to kind of a big community blast. But when you have a curriculum, we're able to align it to that level. So this shows you, I'm giving you this context to show you a lot of the content we build out for mostly our school population. So what I want to do now is just to quickly jump over to, this is the live version of our new platform that's being added. The first thing I want to show you is the library, and this has been completely redone. And this will be accessible to parents, anyone who's administering this, from teachers all the way up to higher level administrators, where they're able to now search by all these various categories and subcategories to make it easy to find the content that they need. They can filter out by age, they can filter by location, or they can do some keyword searches as well. They can toggle back anytime they're looking at a particular video. They're able to toggle back between English and Spanish very easily to do that. And so this has been much more robust. A family now too, so I'll show you a caregiver. This is what a parent is going to be able to have access to in terms of tracking their own data. How many videos have they seen? How many videos have they watched to the end? How many have they reported that they've actually done the activity with their family? So again, so they can track their own progress. They can keep track of what their favorite videos are. So again, this just helps them track their progress and maybe make it a bit more motivational for them. But to click over to what a teacher can see, what they're able to do is create groups of classrooms or groups at whatever makes sense for them. In this case, I put an AM and PM class. Once they create that class, they're able to then add students, and this initiates the process of actually pushing out an invitation to that parent. So again, kind of transforms the way getting parents into the system. If it comes from a trusted teacher, in this case, they're more likely to accept that. But then they're connected to that teacher, so the teacher can track their progress, but also be able to suggest specific content. So along the lines of tracking progress, this is where they're able to see their own dashboard, how many parents they have, what their usage rating is like, and they can drill down to each parent and see a lot of specific information. I'll show you an example of that. So as I'm looking at this student, John Burr, I can see which classrooms they're associated with, how many caregivers they have, so they can have multiple caregivers assigned to that one particular kiddo. And then I see all sorts of specific information of when they logged in, logged out, viewed things, liked particular things, favorited certain things. Again, it gives them access to see how that particular family is utilizing this resource, if that's helpful for them. But where it gets really cool is the ability for an educator, once they have people assigned to their groups or classroom, can come in here and create their own customized playlist. It's as simple as putting together an email with a title, a description, that they can put whatever they want in terms of a message to the families. Here's what we're learning in class, or here's what you learned in story time this week. I wanted to follow up with some specific activities you can be doing at home to help out with your kiddos. They tell us which class they want to send this to, or group that they've created. They can have multiple in here. Once they do that, they simply can get in here and add videos based on what makes the most sense for them. Search again through these categories, add videos to their heart's content, and create their own custom playlist for their families, and then can tell us what they want to do with that. Do you want to send it out to your families now? It's going to go to the families according to the language they've selected and according to the way they've selected they want to get it, by text message or email. They can also schedule it for the future. So if they're building out a series of playlists that they know associate with a curriculum or some other initiative, they can create those in advance and go in and schedule those out in advance to whatever makes sense for them. Again, and then this gets pushed out to those families. It'll say it's from the person who created it. So if it's a teacher or some other person, the parent's able to see that this isn't just a random ReadyRosie playlist. This is actually something coming from that particular educator that's pushing out content unique for them. So that shows you kind of the power of this particular platform, which you guys have been experiencing and what a lot of people experience with ReadyRosie that are using it at libraries or communities where they're pushing it out to kind of a broader population, is they get the standard ReadyRosie playlist that gets sent out once a week. Parents still have access to getting the full library and searching from there. But at this point, you guys don't have the customization capabilities of being able to create classrooms, of being able to invite parents through the system, create your own playlists, and push them out. This is what we typically use when we're working with a school district, Head Start program, or whatnot. So that's a good update to kind of let you see underneath the hood of a lot of the capabilities we have and a lot of the new features we're launching here on August 1st. It's probably a good time to step back and see what questions or comments you have. And I think you might be muted, so if you want to ask a question, you might need to unmute yourself. Do y'all have any questions?
I'm sorry, this is Elizabeth. No, I was just looking through to see what I wanted to ask first. So I know we don't in Philadelphia have the capability of customizing playlists. Is that was that always the case with the package that we had, or is that just now that we're in this in-between spot?
That was always the case. So that the way we approached this customization feature and what we call ReadyRosie Share is it typically went along with a school partnership.
Okay.
The cost is typically different for that because of all this customized feature and data features and whatnot. And so and we kind of built it with schools in mind, given that they tend to have, like I said, this captive family audience for a year, right? They're working with a classroom of students and their corresponding parents. So it's not to say it's not relevant for other applications. It's just that tends to be the folks who wanted to take advantage of these sorts of features.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I was really interested in the classroom features. And there's certainly a lot of ways that could be useful to teachers and families. Thinking about our early childhood community, I was noticing a lot of the categories are really academic. Is that, like a lot of the categories when I open are, patterns and geometry and different things. And I know those are all great things, but with the sort of the rise of attention-directed learning and things, is there a good balance of things that are
or spontaneous type routine type?
Yeah, so what I have there right now, you can see kind of the categories of what we have currently in our library. So from the start, ReadyRosie was always kind of understood to be a kindergarten ready, or in the early days, a kindergarten readiness type of resource. So we very heavily leaned on early literacy and early math. Again, to be able to kind of parallel ourselves with what states we're looking for in terms of kindergarten readiness standards. We have since built out, so I mentioned the social emotional, so all these executive functions and social awareness and things like that. That is being built out this summer. As you look at the baby stuff, so this would be, say, the pre-3 years old, this is much less, of course, academic, just because of what's developmentally appropriate for a 6-month-old or a 18-month-old. And so that's going to be much more kind of broader categories of what I can be doing with my baby that's kind of building their brain out and helping them in key kind of benchmarks as I'm working with a child. Then we've also developed these series of what we call expert videos. So they're not modeled videos per se, they're more of a expert like yourself who's speaking directly to a parent. So there's a question, for instance, what do I do if my child's not listening to me? That a lot of parents might have. And a teacher's wanting to push out something to them that an expert is talking to them. Here's 3 minutes of some advice you're getting on these specific categories. Then there's this broader categories too, family health and well-being, that I think broaden beyond the early math, early literacy approach. So I think what you guys have been experiencing this year with what we've had in our library, the bulk have been in early literacy and early math. Our content team has built out a bunch more in order to kind of fill in some of those gaps.
Great. We're wondering also about if there's a way to kind of screen out activities that require advanced preparation or materials. Because even there's so many great activities, but like one of them focused on having a spray bottle. So if we're working with families that probably aren't going to have these resources, is there a way that we can kind of curate the videos that require no materials or advanced preparation, or have a go around like this, just flick water with your fingers or something?
Yeah, it's a good question. So there's a specific video you saw that used a spray bottle?
Yeah, it was like called the car wash. It was with like a toddler, I think.
Okay. So our content team is very, very sensitive to that very question. And in fact, I'll report back that the spray bottle seemed too unattainable, but you'll see. Or
just like, that's great. If there's a content team that could just kind of address, sometimes the parents aren't going to have the material as basic as the material is. So you just have a one sentence about, if you don't have chalk, draw a circle in the dirt with your finger. Or, if you don't have a spray bottle, do this. Or if you don't have a swing, like bounce them on your knee. Or I don't know. Because I think I worry working with families who don't have a lot of resources. Sometimes that's first and foremost in their mind, that they don't have it already. So,
and they won't do it.
So they might not even watch the whole video to see, oh yeah, I could do it without a spray bottle. They might just not feel empowered at all about it.
Right, and I'll have to look at that specific example.
That was just an example.
So here's how we're able to. So here's a good example, right? And this is one on measurable me. So it's a kid being able to measure with different things and kind of learn the concepts of that. And we describe things of you can use a pencil if you have it, anything. You don't need a specific thing. So I think what you saw was the exception. Our team is pretty sensitive about, we work primarily with lower income families. And so we don't introduce things that aren't typically readily available. Of course, that's going to be across the board. That's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Nothing seemed complicated. I'm right. Just about like, for parents that are on the fence, I think this is perfect, where they just need that little bump, that little suggestion of what would be great.
Right.
But for the parents that are kind of already have a little bit of a defeatist mindset, they might not. And I don't know if that's the group we're targeting. So I'm going to save my notes on that for later, because this is all pretty fabulous for families. Our other question was about, is there a section, or if not, maybe there could be, directed around like routines and, for instance, travel? A lot of the videos that we saw they're all really great activities, but a lot of them were sort of, if you have some free time with your child, you can try this. And a lot of families are so busy that doesn't come up very often. So we're wondering if there would be a way of highlighting activities that they could do while they wait for the bus, or activities they can do, during bath time, or while mom's doing the dishes. I'd like if there were so many diaper-related activities with babies, something to do around diaper changing. I thought that was really a great idea. I think that will be really useful for a lot of parents. But I'm wondering, like, what's the next step once they're 2 and 3 and their downtime is waiting for the bus, or...
Right. And so we have,
office.
Yeah,
Right.
doctor's office.
so we have videos. So if you look at my screen here on filter by location,
Filter by location.
so you can see we have tons in grocery stores. We have some in libraries, on the go when you're in a
Great.
car or on a public bus. We even have some on trains and buses,
Great.
laundromats,
There's a waiting
outside at parks.
category. I love that.
Yeah, there's things at doctor's offices.
Mhm.
So a parent could find themselves that they're searching for something. I'm in a doctor's office and search for waiting or whatever.
Yeah.
They can find, or I'm at a restaurant waiting on food or whatever it happens to be. We specifically mix up kind of where these activities are taking place so that it really does have that on-the-go effect for families.
That's great. I really like this feature.
Any other questions that y'all have?
I really liked all this, especially with the social emotional learning being a part of it. Is there anything that just has like a statement about this is what ReadyRosie is about? We're just trying to give parents more opportunities to interact with their child.
You were cutting out there for a second. What were you asking? Is there a statement of what?
Just kind of, I mean, I know for us, it was easy to figure that, you know, the overall goal of Rosie is helping adults interact, you know, more meaningfully with children.
Yeah.
You know, the benefit of which they're more prepared for school. Is there that statement just embedded in some of the resources so that message is being kind of continually pushed to the parents that it's just about giving them the chance to interact?
Yeah, and again, we're redoing a lot of our awareness materials that you already have access to. So right now I'll go to that site. Right now, our current live site of this is just readyrosie.com/resources. And we have a number of even PowerPoint presentations, parent overview videos that talk about, in fact, when a parent first signs up, they get an overview video pushed to them so that they can see that. There's also flyers that kind of feature, you know, basic wording for as much as a flyer can communicate for something that they see. This is pulling up. So again, this is meant to kind of communicate that we're redoing this to kind of fit with our new logo and whatnot, and the messaging is going to change slightly, but everything from the flyers you get to all the materials we give you in order to communicate this to parents, to even what a parent experience when they're signing up throughout the process is meant to reinforce that. Because one of the things we've learned the hard way is that when a parent finds out there's a new tool for their kids or a new technological tool to help out with their children, they think it's something for their child. So because 98% of kind of apps and electronic resources are for that. It's like the ABC mouse concept. It's to put the child in front of a screen. Ours is different. So we found the need to reinforce that message that parents, this is meant to build your capacity, and then for you to put that device down and engage your child more intentionally as you go on through life. So yes, that's something that we try and message throughout with both our awareness material and then what a parent gets when they sign up for this.
Great.
Can I ask who else is on who's on the conference call? I see Betsy's on. Who else?
215-400-6140 is 400.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, somebody might be calling in.
Don't worry about it. No one.
All right. Well, don't worry. We'll figure it out. But
okay.
And we'll send out the webinar to the rest of the group.
Okay.
And we'll be discussing you know, our next steps at our August 7th, our next meeting in person. Is there anything in specific you'd like us to address with the group or find out and bring back?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, we'll mostly be, I'm sorry, Kevin. We'll mostly be at the next Read by Fourth early
Gotcha.
learning meeting. We'll be talking about, how do these tools, how can we help people use these tools?
Yeah, gotcha.
Basically.
So,
Is there anything we should know with that?
no, I think this is a good overview to help you. The other thing I'll just point out is, again, since we work with schools so much, is you guys have the pre-K version, so the birth through 5 years old. We actually take this same concept up through elementary school.
Okay.
So depending on the population your group's trying to reach, that's really particular to a school for them to be able to engage their families because they are in fact enrolled at that age. But it does show that there's a continuum with this resource that takes this all the way up. So that and I think that's why a lot of school districts in particular find it attractive, because they're able to have one kind of parent engagement resource that's really meeting a lot of their needs to engage their families. So just wanted to put that point in because we do have this elementary version as well.
So right now the version that the Read by Fourth members are seeing doesn't have the K-5 band?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. That would be interesting to see the response from teachers getting used to it here in the district. But that's definitely something we'll consider.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
No problem. If there's anything else you need or questions you have in the meantime between now and your meeting, just feel free to reach out and we'll get you what you need.
All right. Great. Thank you so much. And thanks everybody who's on the call. We'll be sending out some follow-up notes.
Great. All right. Take care.
All right. Thanks so much, Kevin. Bye.